GeoByte.
Hello students, welcome to the GeoByte Diploma series. For the Diploma Mechanical, so far we covered two subjects, namely the first one strength of material and the second one the fluid mechanics. And from this video we are going to discuss new course called thermodynamics. This thermodynamics is the most important subject for all diploma mechanical students. This is the most important and interesting subject. Now remember, there are many scientists put their efforts for developing the thermodynamics, but among all the scientists, the efforts put by Clausius, Carnot and Joule was very important. That's why these three people, Carnot, Clausius and Joule, these three people are generally treated as fathers of thermodynamics. Remember, this thermodynamics can be studied by two ways. One is micro level, micro means small, other one is macro level, macro means big. And one more important information is thermodynamics is mainly dealing the gas, whereas fluid mechanics is mainly dealing the liquids, like how the strength of material is mainly dealing the solids. Now come to the microscopic study. The study of small group of gas particles or the each and every gas particle is called microscopic study. Got it na? The study of small group of gas particles or the each and every gas particle is called microscopic study. This microscopic study can also be called as the statistical study. Come to the other one, macroscopic study. Macro means big. The study of large group of gas particles or total gas present in the system is called macroscopic study. The other name for the macroscopic study is the classical study. So the macroscopic study is also called classical study. Microscopic study is also called statistical study. Dear students, believe me, our all thermodynamic concepts are completely based on macroscopic approach. That means we are going to put our whole concentration on the total quantity of the gas only or large group of gas particles. Now let me define the thermodynamics. Thermodynamics definition is like this. Thermodynamics is the branch of science which deals the heat and work and those properties which are related to heat and work. Thermodynamics is the branch of science which deals heat and work and those properties which are related to heat and work. Remember, this thermodynamics is under developing stage. It is not a completely developed science. It is under developing stage. Before going to discuss the concepts for thermodynamics, let me explain some important terminology connected to your thermodynamics. Important terminology. Important terminology connected to your thermodynamics. So our title is thermodynamics. Now the important terminology connected to thermodynamics. Before going to discuss the terminology connected to thermodynamics, let me write the definition. A branch of science, a branch of science which deals heat and work, heat and work, and those properties, those properties which are branch of science which deals the heat and work on those properties which are depending on heat and work. Heat and work is called thermodynamics. Thermodynamics. Otherwise, let me write it completely. Thermodynamics. Now, let us discuss the important terminology connected to our thermodynamics. The very first term is the system. The very important term is the system. Dear students, don't think that an imaginary object is system. System means a quantity of matter or a particular region of space is called system. This spectacle is a system. Marker is the system. Similarly, this headset is the system. Chair is the system. Towel is the system. Cooker is the system. Similarly, boiler, turbine, engine, pump, these are all coming under thermodynamic systems. So system means a quantity of matter or a particular region of space. A quantity of matter or a particular region of space is called system. It is like this. Listen carefully. This is your system. This is your system. A quantity of matter or a particular region of space is called system. Remember, an envelope encloses the system is called boundary. This is the boundary. An envelope encloses the system is called boundary. Dear students, this boundary may be either fixed type or mobile type. You take the boiler. Boiler is a system. Boiler walls coming under boundaries of the boiler. That boiler wall cannot change from one time to another time. Therefore, boiler is maintaining the fixed boundary. But if I take the balloon, if I send more and more air to the balloon size is increasing. That means the balloon is maintaining flexible boundary is also called mobile boundary. So this boundary may be either fixed boundary or flexible boundary. Balloon, bicycle pump, reciprocating compressor, internal combustion engines, these are all maintaining flexible boundary. Whereas your house is maintaining the fixed boundary. If I assume your house is the system, the walls connected to your house coming under boundary, the walls cannot move from one location to another location. Therefore, your house is maintaining the fixed boundary. The walls connected to your house or the boiler, these are maintaining the fixed boundary. And remember, everything outside the system, everything outside the system, everything outside the system is called surroundings. Everything outside the system is called surroundings. And remember, the sum of the system and surroundings is called universe. Universe means sum of the system and surroundings. Sum of the system and surroundings is called universe. Now, let us discuss the different types of systems. Remember, the thermodynamic systems are three types. That too, the thermodynamic systems are classified based on the mass interaction and energy interaction between the system and surroundings. Here, interaction means crossing the boundary of the system. So, based on the mass crossing and energy crossing the boundary of the systems are three types. First one is open system, second one is closed system, and third one isolated system. Now let us discuss one by one separately. First one, very first one, open system. Open system. And second one, closed system. The second one, closed system. And third one, isolated system. There are three systems are available for thermodynamics. The very first one, open system, second one, closed system, third one, isolated system. The open system is like this. Let us assume this is the open system. If I want to say this is the open system, for this system, both mass and energy should cross the boundary of the system. In any system, if both mass and energy are crossing the boundary of the system, that kind of system thermodynamically called as open system. So for this case, mass is crossing the boundary of the system. Energy also crossing the boundary of the system. Examples for open system. Examples for open system are boiler. Boiler is maintaining fixed boundaries, but both mass and energy are crossing the boundary of the system. Similarly, turbine, compressor, pump, these are all coming under open systems. Now come to the closed system. Let this is our closed system. If you want to call this is the closed system, here only energy is crossing the boundary of the system, but mass is not crossing the boundary of the system. Whereas in open system, Mass is crossing, energy also crossing the boundary of the system. Let me write it clearly. Here, for the closed system, mass is not crossing the boundary of the system, whereas energy only crossing the boundary of the system. Examples for closed system. You take the small battery, Nippo battery. You connect that Nippo battery to the torchlight. Once you connect the Nippo battery to the torchlight, the chemical energy of the battery is converted to light energy. Though the energy is crossing the boundary of the system, mass of the battery remains constant. That means mass of the battery is not crossing the boundary of the system. That kind of system thermodynamically called as closed system. So example for a closed system, battery is the closed system. Similarly, torchlight is the closed system. Torchlight is the closed system. Similarly, the transformer is the closed system. Thermometer, inside the thermometer, there is a fluid called mercury. Once you touch the thermometer to your body, once you go to hospital, the sensing tip is connected to your body. Once that sensing tip is connected to your body, because of the temperature gradient between your body and mercury present in the thermometer, mercury is expanding but not crossing the boundary of the system. Mercury is expanding means the mercury is expanding due to energy interaction between your body and mercury, but not crossing the boundary of the system. Therefore, thermometer is also coming under closed system. So these are the practical examples for closed system. I hope you clearly got the meaning of closed system. The closed system is one in which only energy is crossing the boundary of the system in the absence of mass. Is it clearly understood? Very good. Now come to the isolated system. Let this is your isolated system. The isolated system is one in which neither mass nor energy crossing the boundary of the system. Neither mass nor energy crossing the boundary of the system. That means in the isolated system, mass is not crossing the boundary of the system and energy also not crossing the boundary of the system. Examples for isolated system, universe, thermodynamic universe. In the universe, total mass remains constant, energy also remains constant. That's why thermodynamic universe is the best example for isolated system. I hope you clearly got the differences between open system, closed system and isolated system. Very simple. In the isolated system, no mass crossing, no energy crossing. Both are not crossing the boundary of the system. Whereas in open system, both mass and energy are crossing the boundary of the system. In the closed system, only energy is crossing the boundary of the system, but mass is not crossing the boundary of the system. So that is about the open system, closed system and isolated system. Now this is the time for discussing some other important terminology connected to thermodynamics. Let me discuss some more important terminology. The very first one, thermodynamic state. Thermodynamic state. Thermodynamic state means the condition of the system at any point of time or period of time. The condition of the system at any point of time or period of time is called thermodynamic state. Let me write the definition. The condition of the system, at any point of time or period of time is called state. The condition of the system at any point of time or period of time is called thermodynamic state. Example for thermodynamic state: solid state, liquid state, gas state, vapor state, etc. Solid state, liquid state, vapor state, these are all the thermodynamic states. Now let us discuss the ice is coming under solid, water is coming under liquid, whereas atmospheric air is coming under gas. That is the meaning of solid state, liquid state and gas state. Once the water is evaporating, that evaporated form of water vapor is called steam, is also called vapor. Now come to the process. Next terminology is process. Dear students, process means change of state is called process. The change of state is called process. The change of state is called process. Example: heating process, cooling process, compression process, expansion process, etc. The change of state is called process. You take the ice, once you heat the ice is becoming water. So solid state is becoming liquid state. That kind of change in state is called process. Example: heating, cooling, compression, expansion. Dear students, all these process what I wrote, like heating, cooling, compression, expansion, all these process may be coming under either reversible process or irreversible process. That means there are two types of process are available for thermodynamics, namely reversible process, second one irreversible process. Let me write that point. Types of process. Under these types of process, the very first one, reversible process. And second one, irreversible process. So there are two processes available for thermodynamics, namely reversible process and second one irreversible process. Now let us discuss clearly the meaning of reversible process and irreversible process. First let us take the reversible process. Reversible process means the process is said to be reversible if it can be performed in the reverse direction exactly in the same manner as in the forward direction. The process is said to be reversible if it can be performed in the reverse direction exactly in the same manner as in the forward direction. Example, quasi-static process. Remember, quasi means almost, static means equilibrium. So almost equilibrium process is the reversible process. Let me write the definition. The process is said to be reversible if it can be performed if it can be performed if it can be performed in the reverse direction in the reverse direction exactly in the same manner as in the forward direction, as in the forward direction. The process is said to be reversible if it can be performed in the reverse direction exactly in the same manner as in the forward direction is called a reversible process. Reversible process is like this. Reversible process is like this. If you want to get the water from the ice, you have to heat it. So from the ice you can get the water. Similarly, if I cool the water, I can get the ice. So ice is becoming water, water is becoming ice. That is the reversible process. The process is said to be reversible if it can be performed in the reverse direction exactly in the same manner as in the forward direction. Example for reversible process: quasi static process. Quasi static process is the best example for the reversible process. Let this is your cylinder. So cylinder, this is the cylinder with piston mechanism. This is the cylinder, and this is the piston. Once I ignore the friction between the cylinder walls and piston, the piston movement is the frictionless movement. That friction should not be considered to have the process as a reversible process. Got it? Now what you do is you place some sand on the top of the piston. This is some sand over the top of the piston. You place some sand, this much quantity of sand. you know that quantity of sand is having large amount of particles. Inside the piston, assume some gas is there. This is the gas. That gas initially, maintaining the pressure P, temperature T, volume V. Initially, that gas is maintaining pressure P, temperature T, and volume V. Now, if I remove one sand particle among the total sand, if I remove one sand particle, a little bit downward weight decreases. Once a little bit of downward weight decreases, there is unbalanced force on the piston. Because of that, the piston is moving up. That means before you are removing one sand particle, that piston is in equilibrium condition. Now, when the piston is in equilibrium condition, assume P be the pressure, V be the volume, T be the temperature. But once I remove one sand particle from the total sand, a little bit downward weight decreases. Because of that, piston moves upwards a little bit. Once the piston is moving upwards a little bit, along with piston, once the piston is moving upwards, along with piston, gas is expanding or gas is moving. Once the gas is moving along with the piston, the properties of that gas may be changing from P to P1, V to V1, T to T1. That means pressure is changing from P to P1, volume is changing from V to V1, temperature is changing from T to T1. Like that, if I remove one more sand particle, again there is unbalanced force between the system and surroundings. Because of that, the piston moves upwards. Once the piston is moving upwards a little bit, along with the piston, gas is expanding. Once the gas is expanding, properties may be changing from P1 to P2, volume is changing from V1 to V2, temperature is changing from T1 to T2. Like that, the properties keep on changing once we remove the gas particles one after other. Now, if I reverse the process means if I replace the second sand particle, once I replace the second sand particle, downward weight increases a little bit. Once again, once I replace the second sand particle, the downward weight increases a little bit. Because of that, the piston is moving downwards. Once the piston is moving downwards, the pressure, volume, temperature, these three are changing. Assume the pressure is changing from P2 to P1, volume from V2 to V1. Similarly, temperature is from T2 to T1. Like that, the properties are changing by the time the gas is compressing or by the time the piston is moving downwards. So once I replace all sand particles, the piston can get back to its original position. Then the gas can maintain its original properties, namely P be the pressure, V be the volume, T be the temperature. Such a process is called reversible process. I hope you clearly got my point. Reversible process means the process is said to be reversible if it can be performed in the reverse direction exactly in the same manner as in the forward direction. Example, quasi-static process. In the competitive exams like RRB, ESET, the frequently asking question is the example for reversible process. Different options will be given. Remember, quasi-static process. And one more important information is, in general, reversible process is represented by a thick line or continuous line. I hope you got my point. In general, the reversible process is represented by or denoted by a thick line or continuous line. It is like this. If I take the PV coordinate system, pressure versus volume coordinate system, pressure versus volume coordinate system. If the process is expansion, as we know, during the expansion process, pressure is dropping but volume increases. So that expansion process can be marked like this is the representation of reversible process. Process 1 to 2. Remember, for thermodynamics diagram, direction of process is very, very important. That direction is showing that by the time the volume is increasing, pressure is decreasing, that process is generally expansion process, because during the expansion process, pressure is decreasing but volume increases. I hope you clearly got my point.
Geobyte.